Hello, back. How is everybody? How is the lunch? People are still, kind of like enlarging the break or using the post-lunch time to now they have the opportunity to speak. Till now, they were just eating. And as I can see, some of our participants left for the tour, which is, I mean, I would have done the same if I wouldn't have been here with important tasks to fulfill in the name of the organizers and the organizing committee and the faculty, maybe, why not, speaking on its behalf as well. But put this aside, we are on the panel of smart education, which it is, as I was saying on my opening speech, to me at least, but I hope for each and every one of us, the most important aspect in a societal development. Education is the key, and I remember I was stating that since more than 20 years, as Diana was just saying before lunch. So education is the key, and we are here to discuss now about smart education and not education alone, at least not as it was seen till maybe, I would say, recently. Even though, technology is advancing so fast that when you say recently, you need to be very, you need to come with some sort of time interval. Otherwise, recently it's not enough. So, kind of like have a clue at what and how technology is developing in different areas. And of course, education is one of these areas. I will start by presenting my panelists. A very, I would say, interesting and highly with high expertise in the field of education. Interesting people, beautiful people, and with high expertise, as I said, professionals in education. And I will start with my colleague here, Ana Maria Bercu from the University Alexandru Ioan Cuza in Iași, the oldest university in Romania, right? So you're representative from that university, from the oldest. She's a professor. Of course, it's more or less same field as us, like public administration and governance. So expert in this field. And then I'll go to Alexander. Oh, please, Anna.
Thank you so much, Catalin. Please allow me to say that I am more than grateful for being here today with you. Thank you for inviting me here, and happy anniversary for 30 years of public administration specialization. And we also in Iași celebrate 30 years. So we are at the same age. Thank you again, and I really hope that we will have a fruitful discussion about what means smart education, the reason that we are here now. Thank you.
Technology. Thank you very much, Ana Maria, for your words. And yes, we discovered during the break that both our faculties are, the same age, 30 years. So we planned and we invite you, we take the opportunity, we invite you next year for probably a joint venture for the 31 anniversary. I mean, why do we need to wait for, you know, zeros and fives to celebrate something when ones are also good, you know, nines are also good. I mean, you know, we do have the opportunity. We should just use it. Again, Professor, Vienna University, Professor Alexander Prosser. We know each other from CE-Gov conference for a decade already, I think, something like that. A pleasure working with him all along, and from last year, we decided a year ago, we decided to have this joint event, which is, it started very, I would say, beautiful, and I hope you have the same feeling. Professor Alexander, if you want to just say a few words.
Yeah, Alexander Prosser, University of Economics, Vienna. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. Irinuca Văduva, the president of, or managing director, right, or for ICDL, former known as ECDL, European Computer Driving License, a body that was active. It's active since more than 2 decades, right? And with its scope and objective to digitally educate, I would say, based on the governance from what was the name in English? Governance ordinance, something like that, right? In 2001 for public administration. So ECDL. 2002, okay. It was designed for public administration mostly, for public servants. And so she is also in the field of education and, of course, very much related to public administration for obvious reason. Thank you for being here. Please, if you...
Thank you so much, Catalin, and thank you so much for the invitation in celebrating 30 years. I will have a task now. I will invite you to the 30 years of ICDL in Romania soon. We are not there yet, but we are pretty close. I'm very happy to be here and to share the panel with at least from organizational point of view partners, because on my right, the University Alexandru Cuza in Iași has an ICDL license. We are close partners with Austrian Computer Society that implements ICDL standard in Austria. And of course, not to disclose the next guest, we are closely collaborating also with Ascendia. So I mean a very, very friendly panel, I say.
Yes, thank you very much. And it was no reason to be kind of like worried if you are disclosing the name of the next speaker, Gabriel Lazăr. You already met him. He received sort of diploma written in stone, or, well, not that much stone, but from us. We are good partners with Ascendia, collaborating for, pushing digitalization into the education ecosystem as much as possible. So we have here the representatives, the most important actors of education, and more than that, we are in the room of the Education Commission from the Chamber of Deputies in Romania, in the Palace of Parliament in Romania. So there is no better place to discuss about education than here. And well, it's so easy to ask questions. And my duty as of this panel is not too much to engage with discussions, or of course not to give answers, but to simply ask questions. Moreover, I have the questions here, so I don't even need to ask questions, just read them. And let's see how can we put our guests here into, I would say, uncomfortable positions to ask questions. Of course, the floor is open, so if you feel like asking a question, feel free to. I will moderate that too, of course. I mean, it's open, it's free, but it's moderated. So take that into account when you are expressing the will to ask a question. And with no further ado, I will start with my very first question. Okay, everybody is ready? Okay, thank you very much. So I have here, the first one is, how can universities, employers, and local communities collaborate more effectively to ensure the that educational programs reflect real society needs, especially in the region facing demographic decline, which most of them are facing that, skill shortages, or economic restructuring. As I said, the floor is open, so it's any one of you who is willing to, jump first into answering this. Anna Maria, please. Professor Bercu, or
yes,
I would
Maria
be less
is better because
formal.
I think that here should be more a dialogue and not just to question us. Yeah, I've just think a little bit about the discussion that have had in the previous panels, and I think that I heard that the discussion is related to smart. Is related to smart cities, smart communities, smart skills. So everything should be smart, which allow me to define the idea that us, the university, remains in order to define the smart people. And for this, I think that it's very, very interesting to see how we could link university with local communities, with businesses, with public authorities in order to respond to the challenges that you just mentioned. So we have probably the decrease in terms of employment. We have new technologies that emerge and put us into the situation to learn more. So probably, from the part of the university, we should change something. And this something is related to, firstly, I think, how we teach the people, the students, how we have the opportunity to make our classes more effective in terms of teaching new skills, the digital skills or the hybrid skills, being the way that we could find it in new documents that arise. So from this point of view, I think that the university should be an open university, open to the community, open to the public authorities, open to businesses, in order to learn how to transform. So the open university should be transformative also. For this, which is the best method, or I don't know if we could define a best method, but probably we should define the type of cooperation, collaboration between us, university, and the other stakeholders. Probably one of these methods could be a long partnership, and wouldn't be like one-way direction. It should be a two-way direction, from us to the community and from the community to us. In this regard, I think that it's very, very important to define our roles, to know what to require from the community and what requires for us, the communities. If I think in terms of what community wants from us, probably wants to deliver best prepared students, future professionals with the degrees and skills that could accomplish the requirements of the market. If we think what the stakeholders could give us in order to give them the best students, probably is the support and the real dialogue that should be maintained between us. So, yeah, long partnership, open university, and developing together the two ways of cooperation. I will stop here, and after that, we will continue with the ideas.
Thank you. And now I was noting something. How is Austria dealing with the same challenges, or at least the university you are representing here? But I think Austria as a whole.
Well, I can't speak for Austria. I can only speak for our university and program. Maybe I'm an untypical case in this forum, because as a university teacher, my focus group is not society, it is business. We train logistics and production managers. So the program I'm mainly, almost exclusively involved in is a supply chain management master program. We are ranked #2 worldwide, so we can't do everything wrong. So maybe we could derive some lessons from how we do it. Number one, students get a very clear theoretical education. So they learn the methods, how to optimize a supply chain, how to optimize a path, graph theory, whatever. Then they implement it in tools. And by tools, I don't mean Excel. I mean, for instance, a geographical information system. That's done by a colleague of mine. You learn how to optimize a logistics chain in theory. And then you do it in a geographical information system. Or you learn the basics of data science. And then you come along with SAP BW, the dataverse product of SAP, and you do it. You do the data science part in a real world tool. That would be one of my lectures. And then, and so on, the similar things. The third element is we always try to organize joint student projects, particularly for the master program, for our students with joint industry partners. We don't always manage, to be honest, we don't always manage, but in most cases we do. And if we don't find an industry partner, then we say, okay, look, that topic is academic only. Bad luck. Yeah. But in most cases, we actually try to get an industry partner. And in the Viennese region, we actually have a lot of industry. We have a lot of manufacturing. It's not just hiring, tourism, and, you know, so that there's a bit of industry around. And so usually we find the topic. And then, of course, it's English. The program is taught in English. So I think it's the combination of theory, application of the theory to the tool, and the check with real-world industry needs. Because those industry needs do not just provide the feedback to the students, they provide the feedback to me too. I see what the manufacturing industry wants. For instance, a few years ago, I saw, well, they do process mining. Process mining is not just something nice in theory, but they actually do it. So my business analytics class included all of a sudden a case study in process mining. I designed one, and since then I've been doing process mining. Or I see, well, look, manufacturing companies use more and more image processing based on machine learning. So they, for instance, in a quality check, they want to train the system that it understands what the good quality is, what the quality deficiency is. Whatever the field of application, that's secondary. But the system learns and then applies it to a given situation. So I said, okay, look, we need to design a case study. It wasn't designed for the next semester, but a year later I had my case study ready. Or CO2 accounting. There's an international standard, IFRS S2, which obliges all, quote, capital market oriented companies to have their CO2 accounting. So we have an elective now, and that's also what I'm doing. I have an elective now doing CO2 accounting. So this is not just a feedback for the students. And we should not only discuss feedback for the students, we should also discuss feedback for the lecturers, because ultimately it's the lecturer who provides the menu, who goes to the students and says, look, that's what I have for you. And then if that lecturer teaches something that was super nice 20 years ago, acceptable 10 years ago, and maybe not so super nice now, will put students on a completely wrong track, and they will hit the labor market, they will hit reality and realize, oops, part of my knowledge, actually a large part of my knowledge, is not applicable anymore. So this is not just the loop back to the student, it's also the loop back to the lecturer. That's what I would recommend not to forget.
Yes, thank you very much. And I was wondering, because here in Romania, plenty of students are getting a job while they are still students. Is it the case of Austria? Because, I mean, the model you are proposing looks like going to this direction. Is it the case in Austria? Or
Actually, we do this on a master level. And on a master level, they already have the bachelor, of course. I mean, and then they would already have some kind of part-time employment. I would say I don't do a systematic opinion poll, but I would say 2/3, 3/4 of my students have a job, at least a part-time job. And after they finish the master's degree, usually if they do it in conjunction with a company, they go to the company. Sometimes they don't. Most of the students, our alumni, actually go into consulting, at least immediately after they finish. What they do after 5 years is something else, but they usually go to consulting first and earn a little bit of money.
Yes, and also they have access to real world situations, because, you know, as an employer, you will, you know, put him to work. I mean, for real. Okay, thank you very much. And now going to Irinuca. Yeah, or I don't know if struggling is a good word. Sometimes when we face public administration, we might consider it relevant and actual, but I think you're struggling to digitalize, at least to change the perspective of public administration to be more digital for quite a while. If you will be to measure not the, you know, actual or whatever, do you think that public administration is digital enough? What should they, something is missing somewhere.
You're asking about the public system
The public servant. Yeah,
In
in Romania. Yes, in Romania.
Okay, so we all feel a need for a public administration that is more into the digital world. I mean, it's obvious. We all are working with the public services, and we always wish for better things to happen. So at least from our perspective, there are many things to be done in with regard with digitization in public services. Of course, ICDL is an organization that is doing digital education, so we are dealing with digital skills, and our focus was mainly on the digital skills of public servants in Romania. We have worked very closely with public authorities, even since the beginning, as you mentioned. And
for those who don't know, sorry, for SNSPA holds the ECDL Center #1.
yes.
So we were, yes. And thank you for that, actually.
Thank you for your collaboration for such a long time, and for being the first organization believing in ICDL. But coming back to public administration, we are. I think we are moving much slower than we wish to, but certain steps were made. And the fact that now we are considering the digital skills as key competencies for public servants in Romania, it's a big deal, because acknowledging that we are facing a real process of digitalization in general, and acknowledging and saying that we need digital skills for real for any employee in Romania. So even for public servants, I believe is of main importance. And we are expecting from now to do actual steps into working much better with the public services in Romania. So I'm optimistic. And we are working close to have a very efficient process of raising digital skills of public servants, and of course of everybody in Romania, because we need standardization, and we need also to be very close to what is happening in the real world. This is the key. We have to adapt. It's like, maybe you hear this a lot, but this is something that we are all facing, even personally. We have to adapt, we have to reskill, and it's a real thing. And acknowledging this will help us a lot. Also, in regard with your first question,
Please.
It was interesting. You were asking about how universities, employers, and local communities should collaborate better. I would say that a better collaboration starts with not working in parallel anymore, because at least in our country, there is this feeling that everybody's doing the best it could, but everybody on its path, which is truly wrong. We need to get together and put all our strengths together and to do things more coherently for better impact. So first we have to start to collaborate, I guess.
Yes, indeed. I think I was, I was starting with that because, ECDL, well, firstly, it's sort of like a deliver of education, private deliver of education. And so with all due respect to my colleagues that are from the universities, but I consider private sector a bit more dynamic. Universities are more focused on research and stuff like that, while private companies are more, I would say, dynamic in the market. They feel it better. So I was asking you that in order to understand sort of how, because you feel, my assumption was that you feel the market better than we at the university might feel it, because as Professor Alexandru said, there is this loop in Austria, at least. I don't know if we have it in Romania, at least not that much formal. So I don't think that we have this feedback all the way from the employer to the professor. I think we still have, I'm not kind of like complaining, but we still have professors that are teaching what they know best. With all due respect, as I said. So I was asking you this, just, thinking that you feel the market better, or you feel the...
We are in the market constantly. So what we do is we adapt constantly. You said ECDL is now ICDL, International Certification of Digital Literacy. Everything changed for us. Since you became the #1 accredited test center in Romania, everything changed. We are now different standard, different certification, which is flexible, modular, with modules that we wouldn't dream of 5 years ago or 2 years ago. Everything is changing rapidly based on what's happening in the market, based on the evolution of technology, of digital technology, which affects us mainly. So this is why I was coming back to your question about collaborating, because the private, public, academic partnership is essential, at least for digital education.
Thank you. Dear Gabriel, can I use the same? You represent probably the most dynamic company in the field of education and digital and delivering solutions for education to everyone. I think not just to academia or high schools, but education as a whole. Everyone can access your tools. And you have, I would say, even the statistics, how many of us are using it, and maybe even you, I assume, you have the impact on the real world, kind of, like pupils or students. So not employees or employers, but professor, or on one side teachers, and on the other side students, pupils. How is this seen from your perspective? Are they using it? Is it enough? Should we do more? Who should?
Okay, first of all, I must say that I have 27 years experience as a teacher and 8 years in the private sector. I had the possibility to see this problem from both points of view. Ascendia mainly works with instruments. We make instruments for digital education, but in the last 2 years, we understood that it's not enough. And we started on another business direction in digital education, because it's not enough to put these instruments on the market. It's very important to teach the professors, all the population to use these instruments. Personally, I work with thousands of teachers on regular basis, and many of them are very enthusiastic. It's a very good thing because they saw the action of the digital instruments on the students or their students. There are also, of course, many teachers that don't understand yet at this moment how important it's to change the instrument that you used as teacher. But from my experience, personal experience, from the feedback of the teachers that we work with, I can say that the use of these instruments, it's a very good thing for school, and our collaboration is also an example. And another good thing is that more and more universities understood that this kind of collaboration, it's very, very useful. We are invited to teach on, I don't know, master programs, our subject of interest. For example, we have AI instruments to build digital content for education, and an university here in Bucharest invite us to have a course on this subject. This kind of close relation between universities, the private sector, local communities, I think is the key to develop beyond the politics and programs, and to make something real, something concrete in this direction.
Well, thank you for being here and helping us pushing digitalization to education more and more. And we were one of the universities that I was one of your students and very, very enthusiastic in using the tools. So I'm the living proof for this. And our students here, there are not too many here anymore because they left to this tour, but they are the well, maybe not lucky, but they are in a way the lucky beneficiary from some of the tools you were developing at Ascendia. University, I will now go back to universities often struggle to balance the academic knowledge with the practical skill. I would say that Professor Prosser already answered to that to some extent, but I'm challenging you to provide more details maybe later. What models of curriculum design or community engagement learning have you seen successfully integrated at Alexandru and Cuza University?
Oh, I don't know if it's a success to integrate the part of theory with the practical implication. But I think that some steps are made. For example, we try to invite a lot of practitioners, civil servants, in fact, to teach students different discipline in terms of case studies, also to provide insights from the interior of the public service of public authority, and also to engage them, not in the university, in the faculty, in fact. We have the opportunity to go to the public authority, in fact, at the city hall, and have some, how to say, live exercise of taking the decision or to discuss about the real problems and to define some alternatives for the further decision that should be taken. In this regard, I think that we could discuss about the, how to say, co-creation of the classroom. Something like that could be. So a co-creation of the classroom, and also I think that this is from the part of National Agency for Quality Assurance in Higher Education. One of the main criteria is to have a consultation of the public authorities and of course the other stakeholders that are engaged in our activity, and to define which are the needs and also the needs in terms of knowledge and skills from our students, and also which can be the real methods to deliver to our students. So yes, I think that for the instance, the collaboration and partnership should be stated through the engaging the parts in the learning activities.
Now I have a slightly different question. Is it like sort of internships that the students have to, it's not like an internship?
So the internship, we could have it, it's based on curriculum, but we have the opportunity and it's allowed from our faculty board to invite practitioners in our classes and also to go at the authority in order to make these kind of study cases, practical cases.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. I was just willing to make it. We also have at our university the opportunity to bring practitioners and serve as a teacher for classes. Yeah, and it tends to be very, because we professors sometimes we are making them for it.
So we have also the associate professor or practitioner that came to be associate professor. But also we could invite at a specific theme of our lesson other practitioners that could fit the content of the discipline.
Is it also the case for Austria or your university to have practitioners coming from the private sector and delivering sort of, lecture to students? I mean, is it a good practice also in Austria?
I think generally speaking, it is a good practice. We do it. It's welcome. We shouldn't overdo it. So we have certain limits also in the accreditation process of a master program. There is usually a maximum number or a maximum share of lectures held by practitioners. That's part of the accreditation, so you shouldn't go beyond that. But of course, yes, we do. For instance, in the specialization that I organize, we have an alumni from our program, and she now works at one of the big four, and she has a lecture doing social media analytics. Real world Twitter data downloaded 100,000 records, and students do a semantic text analysis and do it for real. Yeah. But if I focus more on, because we are so untypical, we are not public sector. I think there is one thing you should prepare your students for, and that something that many practitioners, academics, students, alumni don't understand. And it's an issue that equally applies to the public sector and to the industry or the private sector. And that is, what does digitization actually mean? Because more or less we are talking about digitization here. And you can see digitization, I think, on 3 levels. The first level is electrify the process. You have a process on paper, it works nice, you introduce an information system, and the information system simply has to completely emulate the process. There will be areas in the public sector where you have to do it exactly that way. Legally heavy processes, voting. You can't change the voting procedure because you have a new technology. So there will be areas where you do it exactly that way, but it should be a very restricted number. Then you have areas where you use IT, the digitization, you use IT to optimize the process. So you redesign the process, but you still do it more or less the same way. This already actually gives you quite a bit of leverage, competitive advantage, or in the public sector, you don't compete with anybody, but that's maybe one of the main issues. The public sector doesn't have a competition. That may be one of the issues here. The third level is that you change the business model. You use digitization to change a business model. A very nice example is something that's become quite common, and that is framework contracts in public procurement. So say you have a tender procedure for some cars, for computers, stationery, stuff like that. To electrify the process or maybe optimize it a little bit, you use the electronic system to do the tender, and the next tender, and the next tender. And you don't really leverage the optimization process by changing the whole business model. Meaning, you say, well, we don't have individual tender procedures by individual agencies. We collect the demand, we negotiate framework contracts. These framework contracts, there we use our market power. We drive prices down by using the market power, by bundling not just one car here, 2 cars here, 4,000 cars in one go. Then the prices will rush down. And then we use the digitization to get the framework contract to the desktop of the purchaser in the agency. So you really use digitization not to fiddle around with the existing process and to get a 10% gain here and an 8% gain there, but to change the business model, to change it completely, do it in a completely different way. And these framework contracts, if you do them on a large scale, 4,000 items, 10,000 items, you don't do that. You simply you can't do that without IT, because otherwise, I mean, how do you want to distribute the valid framework contract by PDFs? I mean, you simply can't do that. Yeah? You need a purchasing system or an e-procurement system. And so you use digitization in order to introduce a completely new business model. And with central procurement, Austria saves about 20% of purchase prices a year, on average. With some items, it's more. Cars, it's more, way more. With other items like IT, it's considerably less. But on average, it's 20%. And you can only achieve that by changing the business model using ICT. So don't use ICT, and that's, I think, an important lesson we have to teach our students. Use ICT not to fiddle around with the paper processes and do the 5.6% optimization. Use ICT to reinvent the whole show in order to get a big gain. That's also probably something. And yes, we try to hook on to the practitioners and to get their experience and in the field knowledge also in our academic teaching. Yes, of course.
Yes, thank you. Good to put this down, and maybe to take some of your notes as to promote it here as well. I will share small parts of a discussion I had with Irinuca before when I invited her here, and she was asking me something like that, and it follows this, sort of practitioners coming to universities and taking the role of a teacher or of a professor. And she said, are you willing to have a, sort of like a common program with Smart-EDU hub and ICDL in order to give your students some AI classes and stuff like that? And of course, I was immediately saying, I mean, it was not even 1 second of debate in my head. I said, yes, of course. And we already discussed it about when it should that happen or begin. And it will be starting with the new semester. So probably will be in March or something like that. So we are already into this path. I will into this path. So is it your common approach to approach universities or high schools or schools in order to do that?
Yes, this is what we are doing. We are working closely with schools, universities, companies, public authorities, and so on. So it's a practice for us. As you truly observe, we are ahead of what is actually happening in the public sector, in public schools, in public universities, because we have to be always focused on what is relevant in the moment, and of course in the future also. So ahead of bringing effective curriculum in schools starting early years, which we are advocating for since forever, and working closely with the Ministry of Education, for instance. We are working closely on us, and then we are coming back to our partners and deploying what we ahead are developing. So we started doing AI in high schools, I don't know, 4 years ago. And the Ministry of Education is now talking about some guidance for teachers and maybe, bringing some insights, AI insights for high school students now. But we've started way ahead because the reality was that. So yes, we are knocking on the door of schools, of universities. We are developing programs in close relationship with the university. We started a 3D design and printing module, I don't know, almost 8 or 9 years ago with the University of Polytechnics in Bucharest. And now having 3D design and printing skills is something common, but we've started ahead. We are now developing, I don't know, prompt engineering modules, again, with polytechnics. So it's a very common practice that we are doing because we have to work closely with the specialists and the people that are using technology in order to develop very strong curriculum and very strong evaluation standards. And this is also, I will stress on evaluation standards, because no matter what we are thinking, what we are developing, what strategy, what curriculum, we have to be very close focus, not only on the inputs, but also of some verified results. And the results must be competencies. It's very important. We are not, very far from teaching the theoretical knowledge, but always we have to focus on practice in the end. So this is it. we are looking forward on starting a new program with you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, very important, and I think it is important here, especially for our students. They are not here, as I said, but ICDL is not anymore about Word, Excel, and Access, and maybe PowerPoint. It's larger, way larger than that. Would you have classes on robotics, right, as well?
Yes, of course, robotics and AI, and of course, insights in all this emerging technology, even in IoT or big data, cloud computing, and so on. So,
we need to stress that to our students and to have this partnership because it's not the same ECDL we had 20 years ago.
No, completely not at all.
Completely different. Yes. Now turning to Gabriel, we had 2-3 years ago or something like that. I don't remember. Maybe the hackathon. Yes. And Ascendia was partner in that hackathon, and we were having professors from SNSPA working together with students from SNSPA, but not only. We also had from other universities in Romania, not even from Bucharest, but from Sibiu and groups of mixed professors and students to produce, if I can put it this way, courses on the digital courses based on Ascendia products, Livresc to be more precise. So you are also looking for this kind of collaboration. Was that sort of a unique example, or is it a way of doing business for Ascendia, sort of, kind of like forcing or, at least advocating for this sort of partnerships with universities and probably other, high schools and schools?
I think it's a wish. It's a wish because unfortunately it was a unique experience. It was amazing to see students at their first contact with our instruments trying to insert even AI part in this activity. The creativity of the students was exceptional. And I think that many universities can take this model. I promoted this model to other universities, but until now it was not something positive in this direction, because it's a fact. Teachers don't have enough time to develop a lot of new instruments using AI or content creators and so on. But the students can help them to build such instruments with two wins. The students learn to use the instrument. The teacher, after that, have the material, the digital material, to be used with other students. I think that it's a very good idea, and if we can promote this, will be a very good thing.
Maybe we need to have. I'm looking at Diana. Maybe we need to have another hackathon and to use it as a new exam to refresh the memory of our colleagues in order to have a new experience and to show how these things work. Please.
Yeah. So turn off. And we had exercises about that, Catalin, because like this room needs to be, like in sync. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. So it's a wonderful idea, actually. And this is an open invitation to our colleagues from Iași, colleagues from Cluj, for colleagues that, share the same interest and think that they could bring their students to Bucharest, because I think that would be a wonderful opportunity to point towards what's needed in education nowadays. And maybe you can design the call and share it with you, and maybe you can share it with others as well. So hopefully we could organize something, dealing with the digital and education in the same time, and hoping for the best pitches ever. So yeah, let's circle. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Okay, well, as I said, this panel is open. So if there is anyone who would like to, comment or add any suggestion, or, simply ask a question, Oliana, please.
Works? Okay. Very interesting discussion. Our university, I'm Oliana Sule, I come from University Alexandru Durrës in Albania. So we are part of this very nice region, which are the Western Balkans. And actually, it is very interesting because also the paper that I will present during the conference, but also the project that I'm working on now, it is founded by the National Agency of Research and Innovation of Albania. We have one part of research focused in the famous third mission of universities. Also, we celebrated we are celebrating currently 20 years of existence of our university. We are like the youngest university in Albania. Durrës is the second main city and the main port. And we had an interesting forum focused on the discussion that you are having here in this third mission of university, in how to engage different stakeholders, like to build the famous quadruple helix model or the multiple helix that exists. But what we miss in our region, because our project also focuses mostly in different countries of the region, it is like building true bridges especially between industry and university. Actually, we had one participant from the industry. She was very straightforward, and she said, we expect that universities come to reach us because you reach us only for sponsorships and internships, nothing based on real collaboration. So, and then we wondered with my colleagues that actually maybe what our region is missing is finding a way to have this two-way collaboration. So do you have any kind of best practice that you maybe can share with us, or how it goes? Do you experience any kind of challenge still on this famous industry university collaboration? Especially because the third mission also is technology and knowledge transfer of the university, right?
Thank you. I hope it's not a question for me, because I don't like answering.
One from the side.
So I will pass it to my colleagues here. Any reaction on Oliana's question?
So yes, indeed, the question is if we have a bridge between university and business sector, or we just require them to give us, I don't know, some support during our activities. This year at my faculty, we have the first dual educational program. So we engage the university, the faculty, and the programs that we have it within our faculty with the business sector. So in fact, we have the teaching activities taken by professors and also by the business partners. It's the first year. I don't know which are the results or how will be in the future, but I think that could be a first step for the next kind of partnerships. Okay, we have partnerships within the European projects. We develop a lot of activities, scientific events, presenting different, I don't know, let's say good practices in different fields. But indeed, it's not quite a real cooperation that could build bridge between us and the business sector.
Thank you. Any other reaction on that? No, then any other question? No. Oh, Diana.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Just a quick reflection and then maybe just asking for your opinion on something. The first thing I wanted to say is that we are actually now to my knowledge, the only room in this Chamber of Deputies and the Romanian Parliament that bears the name of a woman. She is a writer. She used to be a writer. Actually, she passed away a long time ago. Hortensia Papadat-Bengescu is the name of this whole room, and it's actually a writer who initially, as far as I remember, wrote under a false name, right? Just because most likely at the time the idea of a woman writing novels wouldn't, fit the market very well. So with this being said, and bearing this in a way into consideration, I was thinking about education sometime, how it seems unfit for the market sometimes. Of course, we need to teach things that maybe the labor market doesn't really see as relevant, like being empathetic or building sort of like critical thinking, but going beyond, And I was wondering how you reflect this in your curriculum, especially considering now the digital age, and how do you see, if you see any conflict there, I don't know, maybe moving more towards human-centric kind of approaches in teaching while also balancing with, what happens in the digital. I don't know how you feel about that one. I don't know if it's an issue of any kind in your universities or your experiences, but I thought that maybe this might be an interesting comment to add to the discussion. Thank you.
Please, Professor.
As I see it, there were two questions. The first one was the gender topic. Well, in our master program, which is very technically oriented, we have 50-50 females. I don't know whether that also applies, I have to admit. I don't know whether that also applies to the applicants, because we have a rejection rate of more than 90%. So among the students, we have a balance. Among the applicants, I can't say. I simply don't know. This makes us a very untypical technical program. Normally, at least in Austria, Germany, very similar. Actually, most Western European countries, it's actually a very tilted towards men. That is different, or at least I made the observation, it's different in former Eastern European countries. If I go to Moldova, for instance, and I have a faculty meeting with an IT faculty, I have a majority of female professors. You wouldn't have that in Austria, yeah. So maybe that's a cultural thing. Maybe there are other factors I can't gauge. But that's why we have, as an Austrian Computer Society, an initiative called Women in IT. That's exactly why. If we had a 50-50 relation, we wouldn't have that initiative. The fact that we see it necessary to have such an initiative, it speaks volumes. And the second question was, I think, about the if I understood that correctly, the practicality or the practice content of course programs, I think that also differs. I don't want to paint the ideal world. You still have programs that are very theoretical, textbook oriented. They just do it that way. They've been doing it a long time. We are not that way. So I think it always depends on who runs a program, who designs it. It very much depends, I think, on the people involved, what kind of vision they have and how they see the role of academic teaching. If they see it in regurgitating textbooks, they will regurgitate textbooks. If they see it in a more practical oriented manner, they will do it that way. I think teachers, academic teachers, have a very, very high responsibility, not just for the classroom, what they do in the classroom, but also how they design their courses in the first place, how they adapt it. Whether they say, well, now we have a course program, it's nice, it's working, it was approved, accredited, so let's do it for the next 100 years, yeah? Yeah, it's maybe not the model of success.
I would just add, with regard of the gender issue, the fact that Romania is also, at least in the domain of ITNC, is very well covered in terms of genders. We are in top with regard of IT students and graduates that are female. So we are a champion in this topic. I constantly I am asked about colleagues in other countries what we are doing here in Romania. How do we attract so many girls in ITNC? Well, I don't have a certain answer, but I believe also the income counts a lot for them. So, but it's very, very good for all the women in Romania that this is happening. A second, with regard of critical thinking and other soft competencies, we all are facing the fact that are becoming more and more important in this AI era that we are facing. And of course, in digital education, at least we at ICDL are not addressing IT specialists. We are addressing the users. So this kind of competencies are strongly important as the technical ones for us. And of course, we developed relevant modules such as information literacy, for instance, that is addressing critical thinking directly in relation with the information we are all having on internet, and we have to select properly. So it's a very active thing happening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Lasse, I think you had a question.
Yeah. It was more about this gender thing, and the situation we experience today is that girls are outperforming boys in school, which means that they get priority into the most prestigious programs. And of course, someone is still complaining about it's not enough female professors, but if you just do the prediction, in 20 years, it will be much more female professors than men. That's the development, but it takes some years to to get there.
Good.
Well, I'm certainly the last one to comment on that. In my university, had the first female professor at some stage in the 1990s, the first female professor in the 1990s. So we've come a long way.
Yes. Thank you. I think I see that our participants are returning, so we can start the session. Okay. So if you agree, we can start the session. Actually, we are almost running out of time, so I will go to my last session question, and I will start from my far left, from my colleague from Ascendia. And you will understand pretty soon why. As communities are facing technological and social change, what is one structural reform that you believe will significantly contribute to a better connection between education, development, community, and so on? And I started with that because I want to, of course, the floor is open to everybody, you know, but from my perspective, I would like to, I'm member of a university, I'm an academic. So I would like to end this with a perception from the academia. So that's why I will start with sort of private sector that is deeply involved in education.
Okay. It's not an easy answer here, of course. It's very interesting because I saw in the last period that communities have more and more initiatives in that direction. For example, it was last year was for the first time when a municipality have brought from us materials, software for all the schools from a city. It was the first time that I saw that, because when the municipality try to develop a direction for all schools in a city or in a county, I don't know. It's something that can be reflected in the activity of the school. The municipality must understand that their main duty, it's not only to finance the schools, but must be implied also in politics, in development of the directions of teaching to serve the community. And this is, I think, a good example of the activity, of a good activity of local community, starting with the basics, with the schools. Also, there are, I saw, not so recently, but in past activity, I saw very important, very large enterprises that tried to develop in collaboration with educational institution programs to help the community to understand better what is necessary for these large companies and to direct the education in providing people with good skills for their needs. I think this is all for my part.
Yes, of course. Now I'm turning to ICDL. Is there any?
Okay, so you're asking about a reform.
Yes.
Nowadays in Romania, reforms are about cuts, about cutting. Well, I don't see in these terms your question, and the reform I'm thinking of, I'm seeing as a developing and adding thing. First of all, I think in Romania, talking about digital education, digital skills gap, and all these digital struggles that we will be facing socially and economically in the next period, I believe we need a very strong strategy on digitalization, a strategy that can unify everything that is happening in academia, in schools and universities, what is happening with our teachers, what is happening in public administration, and what is happening in the private market, what is happening with our graduates and our employees. We need, actually, it's a kind of a round answer from where we started. We need to collaborate and to have a very solid strategy on digitalization. And one point that I see with regard of digital skills is something that I saw in other countries, maybe a retraining fund for every employee that is facing economical transition due to digital technology impact and evolution should be very useful, because we have to support ourselves in all this process. So we are doing our best in provoking this very complex process to happen with real impact for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Now let's go to Vienna. So Vienna University is, I mean, you do, maybe you don't have the Romanian experience, but what advice you would give us to become like you? I know it's let's dream on.
No advice. No advice, because I'm simply not aware of the situation. So I wouldn't dare to give advice on a situation I cannot gauge. Yeah. Plus, I'm unqualified for yet another reason, because we don't do teaching with communities as a target group. Our target group is businesses. So I'm the wrong person for two reasons. For
this question. So for this question only. Yes. Ana Maria, well, you are on the different, so please.
I'm not in a different, Catalin, I'm in the same place. Professor Prosher, I just remember that we have at the university and the faculty a common master program on strategic human resource management. So, Catalin, we share probably the experience. We could, of course, learn a lot from Vienna, but also we have our part of gold. Concerning your last questions regarding the reform, I know that Romania is in the process of reform since early beginnings, yes. And I think that us, like university, we are transformative. And we should reflect on what we could do in order to accomplish the requirements of new technologies, new era of technologies, and how our students could be equipped with best knowledge and digital skills, hybrid skills. In this regard, I just want to summarize what I just said, and probably partnership with the other stakeholders, even if we discuss about public authorities or businesses or communities entirely, should be based on real partnership. Also, we should create the learning processes through creative labs, for example, or innovative labs where to share together the experience, the learning experience. Another important way is related to sharing also the responsibility of what we do in the learning process. Also, if we have the possibility to define which kind of digital skills do we need or hybrid skills, and to standardize them, because we need a framework, a clear framework for doing this. So we are a resilient university, transformative one, with clear goals. And I really believe that the future is with us, and together we could define our common goal.
Thank you. And I will use the power I'm invested with to answer my own question. Of course, not necessarily giving sort of, what I was asking here for, like structural reform or whatever. No, not that big. But there is something that I would like to see in the near future for professors, teachers as well, to gain points when they are developing digital materials, not only printed materials, books and articles. Well, articles are also, most of them are digital indeed, but that's scientific articles. But if they are writing, or not even writing, but if they are producing, like what Ascendia is making, or any other, platform that is capable to provide content for students. If a professor or teachers is doing that, it gets nothing in return, except being loved by his students or his or her students, but nothing from the, I would say, from the officials, from the university, from the school, or even from the government. So maybe that would be something that I will ask even Alexandru Gigiu here. He's not here, but maybe he can hear us, to stress, to make, to give points, to give sort of rewards, to engage with professor to this level of, content providing to the students. So I was just asking my own question, even though I had no idea that I will go that far. Actually, we were. I thought we'll never get to the last one. Still, the floor is open to. I have said the new participants, since you didn't came from the very beginning to this panel. But if there is any question related to, smart education and things like that, that you would like to, have an answer in the, couple of minutes that we still have more, not quite, but, we can use couple of, the floor is yours. No, please, if will be interesting to have some inputs from the audience. Please, yeah.
Thank you, Professor. Hello, everyone. My name is Iulian Matache, and I'm teaching. I'm assistant professor at the SNSPA at the Faculty of Public Administration, and I have roughly a comment, most likely not a question, regarding what Professor Ana Maria Bercu said earlier about inviting practitioners to complete the theoretical part of the students' education. I think that is very important. In my roughly 5 years of teaching, I found out that students are very, very interested in the practical part, and they get bored very quickly. So this changed over the past 5 years. While 5 years ago, I could watch, let's say, a long video or a movie with my students and then comment upon it. Today, I think it's impossible, because nowadays youngsters have this attention span very, very low. They get bored really, really quickly. And you have to keep them somehow entertained in class. So I think, and I'm saying this based on their feedback, at the end of the semester, I give them a Google form and they should give me an anonymous feedback over the seminar. And the most answers are regarding to games, applications, fieldwork, debates, and case studies. These are the most interesting things for them. And this is what I think we should look more upon, and the practical side of our teaching, because okay, yes, theoretical part is important, but you could teach them the theory of rockets or something. They will get bored in 2 minutes and just, they won't listen to it afterwards. Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed, the practitioners are part of our lessons when it recalls this kind of discussion. And recently, I think that now the young people couldn't stay attentive more than 8 seconds if you present something without image or auditive or something that could retain the attention. So unfortunately, we could not use probably from now the traditional way of teaching. We should address new technologies and also to imply them into the study cases, dialogue, put it in the real world, because it's not more possible to have the traditional way of learning and teaching.
Thank you, Lian. Thank you, Anna Maria. Any other reaction, any other comment or suggestion from the audience? No. So I would like to wrap up this session, even though Professor Anna Maria Bercu already did that for me, to be honest. I was thinking pretty much the same. Education is not that much traditional as it was in a couple of probably decades, probably years ago. It's not about the curriculum and the exams. It's about connecting professors with industry or with the practical ecosystem. It's about connecting tools, digital tools, with both students and teachers and the staff. And we saw that from private perspective, Ascendia in ICDL. We saw it in Vienna. We saw it in Iași, and we have it in Bucharest. I mean, the same perception, the same opinion, in a way, as sort of like converging. It's focusing towards the same idea, together with, from different areas, different, probably even, trans, pluri, multi, and there are all these attributes that we need to put together knowledge and practical knowledge and theoretical knowledge to make better students. And if they today are students, tomorrow will be citizens, will be employees, and even employers. And now I will leave it with a question, sort of. Would I agree, turning back, kind of like 20 years, 30 years, I don't know, turning back time, would I agree to have as a boss one of my students? And if yes, what would be the qualities that I will ask for my boss to have my students, future boss, sort of, in this metaphorical approach, in order to accept working for him or her? So think about that, and let's discuss, if you would like to, about, so it was a rhetorical question, of course, but let's discuss it to a rather late lunch or early dinner. It depends how you put it. We just had one an hour and a half ago. Now we have the opportunity to have another one. So we can just kind of have a reload of lunch or, you know, an early dinner. And to, you know, answer to my rhetorical question. Till then, I will thank my panelists. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Thank you for getting engaged and getting involved. We hope we are not just answering questions, but we are starting a new partnership, sort of, and we will push things further for the next event, but not only the events, but, you know, for the next year, because this one is almost over. Thank you. So please, the dinner, lunch, and it's not the same, it's not what was left. No, it's a new. There are new products are waiting outside.